As police search the home of a man charged in a string of serial murders on New York's Long Island, new details about the timeline it took to solve these long cold cases and concern from a tipster raises questions about what investigators knew about the alleged killer early on and why they didn't act sooner. Last week, Rex Heuermann was arrested in the deaths of 3 women stretching from 2007 to 2010 in what was long known as the Gilgo Beach murders. Prosecutors say he dumped the bodies of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello along this remote stretch of beach on Long Island. He's also a prime suspect in the death of another woman, Maureen Brainerd Barnes. But Suffolk County Prosecutor Ray Tierney, who assumed office in 2022, says the key evidence that helped him make an arrest was known to investigators more than a decade ago.
When they're getting that's lost within a sea of other tips and information they're getting.
In 2010, not long after the bodies were discovered, a description matching Heuermann and his black Chevy Avalanche was given to investigators by a roommate of Amber Costello.
Specifically, the individuals between 6'4" and 6'6", well over 200 pounds, 250 pounds, very large built individual with a white male.
In 2012, Tierney says police obtained cell phone records that connected the victims to burner phones that had pinged off cell towers near Heuermann's home and Manhattan office. The Associated Press spoke to Dave Schaller, Amber Costello's roommate, who reported that vehicle, as well as Heuermann's description nearly 13 years ago. He declined to speak on camera, but says he was interviewed several times by police and wonders, with that information in hand, why investigators couldn't have made an arrest sooner.
And at the time, there wasn't really any, coherent leadership at the top. There is no interaction between the FBI and the other agencies.
One possible explanation is a scandal that rocked Suffolk County law enforcement in the 2010s. Former Police Chief James Burke had apparently cut ties with the FBI in an effort to avoid federal scrutiny of his own misconduct. Burke and then District Attorney Thomas Spada wound up serving federal prison sentences. Spada's successor, former DA Tim Sinney, acknowledged to the AP that the case should have been solved earlier, but said he inherited an investigation that was in disarray. Tierney, who took over the investigation in 2022, says ultimately what ended up cracking the case was the formation of a task force to bring the FBI, state, and local police together, looking at all the evidence.
I think it really took that collaboration, and oftentimes there are forces outside of the investigation, which negatively impact upon the investigation.
Robert Bumsted, Associated Press.